Okay, welcome back to the last part of One Man's Faith today. Again, I have Cheryl and Lynn with us, and they are correspondents over in the Middle East. And we've been hearing some pretty interesting things, especially about the differences between Christianity and Muslim. And we were just talking, or we've been kind of intermixing with whether Islam is really a peaceful religion, or whether there's an agenda. And it appears that there is an agenda with the Islamic faith and what they really intend to do. Now, you said that we're considered infidels.
That's right. We are all considered infidels. If we are not Muslim, we're an infidel. And being that we are infidels, they can lie to us. They can lie about anything, and they can tell us that they're a religion of peace, look us straight in the eyes, and at the same moment be ready to kill us. And I hate to say that in general about the Muslim people, but there are those that absolutely believe that, and they live their lives that way.
Now, is that written into the Quran?
It's part of the religion because they follow Muhammad. And Muhammad, he had a contract with Mecca, with his people, to not attack them, and they had so much time, but in the middle of that contract or covenant, he broke it. And he went in and attacked his own people. So they believe whatever Muhammad did, they can do. So they lie with a straight face, they don't have any guilt. So it's always hard to read what the truth is.
Wow. Okay. Well, you had said that there are certain areas set up already in America that are kind of Sharia areas. Is that right?
Yeah, they claim them themselves. They did petition for Sharia law in America when Obama was in office still, now and during this administration, and thank God he said no. But we should be living under American law. There should be no exception to that, and so should they, but they don't. And I know this personally because my sister has a friend who is married to a Muslim that came from the Middle East, and he said he was a Christian. And eventually he invited his whole family. Now they have a community of these Muslim people wearing the burqas. They have more than one wife. They live the Sharia way and not the American way.
Doesn't sound very Christian.
Not very Christian at all. But she didn't know it until he came home one day and said he had another wife. This is after 30-something years of marriage. Yeah, she's a Christian. They're both going to a Christian church. And he said, you know what? I have a new wife. And she laughed. She thought, no. And he said, well, yes, I do, because my family wants me to take care of this gal. And she was in the burqa, and she had 2 kids, and she needed a husband. So he put her up in another place in the same town in California. And my sister's friend said, you can't do that. You're a Christian. He said, I was born a Muslim. And that was the bottom line.
So he never really converted.
No, if they start out being a Muslim, Muslim isn't just a religion, it's a way of life. It's a political, it's a way, it's their whole ways, not just the religion.
What do you think should, I mean, we've kind of opened, in a sense, a can of worms, because whenever we start talking about Islam and Muslims and all, it almost brings fear to us, Sharia law, these areas set up and all. But you say you work with them. What should be our, as Christians, attitude toward those around us and those that are Muslim?
Well, I think we should be I was in Salinas, California recently, and I was walking through a store, and I saw some Muslim gals in burqas, and I said, "Marhaba," which means hello. And they looked at me shocked and talked, and then I told them that their veil was halua. Halua means you're very pretty, beautiful blue. And they started giggling and all, but what that does is it opens up dialogue with them. And yes, some of them can speak English here. And what they do, when they want to get to know you, they invite you to a meal. They're very, very hospitable. They're very social people, just like the Jewish people. And you go and you get to know them. You go and have a meal with them. And I think we should truly, just as a Lord, what would Jesus do? You know, what would he do? He wouldn't say, you know, or be afraid of them, or no, he would talk to them and say, this is what I believe. This is what the truth is, you know, and you can get to that place after you get to know them a little bit, but just breaking down the barriers.
So like anything else that really is, if I could use the word anti-Christian, we still should love just as we would someone who's doing, you know, well,
Yeah.
a murderer.
Yeah,
so
look
to
at the gay
speak, or
people.
the
You know,
gay
God
people.
so loved the world that he gave his only son. So I think we should love the people. I think underneath Islam is probably Satan himself, the father of lies. But that's a spirit of Islam. That's underneath it. But the people are people. I see these little kids being taught that the Jews are apes and pigs, and they're saying it on television. And then I see little girls, 11 and 12 years old, taking knives from school, and from a Palestinian school, and stabbing people in Jerusalem because they're taught that these Jews came and took over their land. They're being taught lies. So you can't blame it on the kids, you know, there's a spirit behind it. The leadership is inciting the people, the leadership is using the people, and truth needs to win over these lies, and that's the biggest problem. If we can get the truth out, and even tell the Muslim the truth, like the guy that wanted to become a sheikh, he didn't know what Muhammad did until he went to school to learn. And then he said, I don't want any part of this, but they don't know.
It's how do I want to say, I can't say what I was going to say. So they're kind of being more indoctrinated than really learning the truth of what's behind their religion.
Absolutely. A lot of them don't even know where the history comes from. They don't know what the surahs in the Quran are. Quran is a very confusing book. It's a very confusing book. You go to the Hadith, and that's about the Quran. It's a little bit easier to read. But I've been through those surahs. I've been reading books on the Quran, and I have a Quran, you know that. And so I look at what this stuff says. They don't know some of it. But they know what happens if they steal something. They know what happens if they become gay. They know what happens if they speak against somebody. And here they live in the land of free, but they call us the great Satan. Because if you look at us on television or anything, you see how people are dressed, things that come out of our mouth and all that. So we're the great Satan. So we're not to be followed. Even the girls going to school here, well, that's another story. But anyways, the kids going to school here, they're teaching them not to follow the authority in America. And that comes through an organization called ACTS. And a lady from Lebanon started that. But if you go to ACT, you'll see that what they're being taught here in America by their own people. And it's going to be dangerous in days to come. So what I plan to do is just love them into the kingdom as much as possible. Pray for them. Prayer really helps. And be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove.
Is there anything that we should learn or know about? Well, like if we knew a Muslim person or something, how could we, is there anything we could do to reach them, or is it just really just waiting and letting the Lord work through them?
Actually, we can pray and then love them.
Okay.
You know, to show the love of Christ. You know, and it says in the Bible that my people perish for a lack of knowledge. And if we don't understand what's going on, this is another thing we can do, is search to see if what I'm saying is true. You know, search things out. Don't just believe what somebody says. Because we need to know and understand what's around us, and that way we can pray into the situation, and we'll use wisdom in our decisions instead of allowing people to come in through Mexico and, you know, terrorists, or letting, like Trump was saying, when they come in, to vet them, find out who they are first. Why did they come in? Why were there so many young men going into Europe? And my cousin is a police officer in Germany, and he said when they wanted to stop them from coming in, they couldn't. They rioted, and most of them were young men of fighting age. And they, of course, I know the culture, so they have wives back there, because once you turn a certain age, it's a shame not to be married. So a few families came in, a few elderly people, mostly young men. So there's an agenda, there's a plan, and we need to use our knowledge and get out there and find out what's going on. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how can we pray for y'all?
Well, protection is a good one. Yeah. Even with what we're saying now, you know, which may be on YouTube, people check us out wherever we go. And we're journalists in America, in Israel, and we're trying to get the truth out to the West. So that's a prayer, you know, to get the truth out, because people need to know what's happening and not blindly allow these things to happen. And we need protection, because when we say the truth, I've been attacked. My life's been threatened, you know, and I never know when something's going to happen. I had a hand grenade in my backyard, a pipe bomb in my carport. I had a goat's head in my driveway, and that was through Jewish Kabbalah. But there's different ways I've been attacked. But a Palestinian, I was driving down the road, 60 miles an hour, you know, going down through the West Bank area, Judea and Samaria, and a Palestinian had a rock this big and tried to throw it.
Wow.
And tried to get through my windshield. And if he would have did that, I would have been dead. But he missed and hit my headlight instead. So definitely need protection for getting the truth out and for our lives over there, because now we're in a knife intifada in Israel. And that means at any time, an 11-year-old or a 90-year-old can take a knife or scissors and stab us. We carry pepper spray now downtown. So it's a very dangerous situation people are in.
Real quickly, what is that about? The knife in a funnel.
Yeah, that started October 1st, and the first family was killed in front of their children, and it has been going on. It's incited by the Palestinian Authority. It's incited through the music, their MTV program, telling kids to go and stab and kill and get rid of the occupiers, because these people, they're saying that Israel never belonged in Israel, that they just came in 1948 and took over the land and just killed all their people, massacred them. So these kids are going, oh, what? And so they're listening to the leadership, picking up knives, scissors. They're driving over people at bus stops, chopping them with axes. I mean, it's just a horrific scene. And you don't know if it's going to be the guy you had dinner with last night, the Arab you had dinner with, or somebody else. And that's why it's dangerous for us to go in some of these Muslim areas now. We don't know if we're going to be turned on.
Wow, okay. If somebody wanted to know more about your ministry and what you do, how could they find out?
The best way is to email. We don't have a website purposely because of the attacks on us, but they can email me at reporting, or us.
Thank you.
Report,
I am here.
I'll get used to being married soon.
That's okay.
But reportingfromisrael@gmail.com.
One word,
All one
reporting
word.
from Israel. Okay, hey, our time's gone. Gosh, I want more.
That went quick.
I hope it's been helpful, and look, truly go out and look and see if what Cheryl and Lynn have been talking about is true. You can find it. Oh, you know, Google tells you anything, right? So understand what you need to know so that you can know how to pray. And God bless you. Thank you for being with us.
Bless you. And
We'll see you next time.